World. This is DS1 Ross. Good morning to the family. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. And I'm back, family, with the Black History Month series. It off. And I appreciate everyone who tuned in. You know, if you missed anyone, go back and review from them. Make sure y'all leave your thoughts. But get into number 9 today, family. This guy here is very special. He's very special to us politically, entrepreneurially, and his name is Sam Cooke. And I decided to do Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was the Michael Jackson and the Prince of his time. You know, a lot of us Cook. A lot of us, you know, a lot of us was really exposed to Sam Cooke to know what he did. A lot of us just know him from next movie, the song he was listening to. That was Sam Cooke. And that's how I found out about him, actually. If I watched the Malcolm X movie, that song would just, you know, and it still does to this day, man. That's a very, very you know, that's a very, very deep song, man. And that was a song that my grandfather loved too. So it's very, very dear to me of deep meaning. So let me get into a little background of Sam Cooke, y'all. I'm getting my information from the Britannica, and it says Samuel Cooke was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, 2nd, 1931. Cooke was a major figure in history of popular music, along with Ray Charles, and the most influential black vocalist, World War II period. So he was well known, or one of the top black vocalists after World War II, about like the 60s and 60s and well, the 50s, the 60s, post World War II era. So this brother made a lot of influential music back then, you know, sung out of his oppression. He used his talent to help, or he thought he can help, to help change the social conditions of his people. So let me read a little more. It says Cooke's career came in 2 phases. As a member of the groundbreaking Soul Stirrers, a premier gospel group of the 1950s, He electrified the African American church community with a light, lifting vocal style that soared rather than thundered. So this brother had a sweet voice, not sweet as we'd call it, but he, he had one of those, really wasn't deep. He didn't have a deep roaring voice. You know, his voice was very soothing. And as you can see, he started out in gospel. Interesting how he electrified the black church first in the black church. And see, this is one of the reasons why I feel like he had the impact that he had as a musician, because whenever you come out of the church and you're here for you to attract, or make that crossover, as they call it in the music business. It's easier to make that crossover when you come through as a gospel artist, because I feel like the genres won't see you as a threat, that you was a black man, you know? That's why I feel like Kirk Franklin made so much money. He made so much money because gospel artists. So after that, you could come and you can make R&B. You can make other music, because now these corporations are not against you, or they don't feel like you're a risk if they invest in you, because they don't see you as a threat, because you started out as a gospel singer. You're not a black radical, and you got to think these. So it was easy for you, you know, to just be blackballed and never heard of again if you was a musician and you were black. So in 1955, he made Nearer to Thee. These is his gospel hits. Touch the Hem of His Garment, 1956. And Jesus Wash Away My Troubles in 1956. Your gospel hits. Brother made legendary gospel songs before he even touched. So he was already a star, you know, sort of like sort of like Michael in his day, or Prince in their day. These guys were stars from young, before we even knew we knew them for. These people were already stars. And this is why I say Sam Cooke was the Michael Jackson of his day. He was the Michael before was a Michael. He was the Prince before there was a Prince. And what I'm gonna get into in a few minutes is how he also, why I also consider him the Prince of his day, is because he was savvy when it came to his music, when it came to him understanding the business of the music business. See, a lot of us come in as artists, so we come in with the mindset to just make music, but we don't understand how to monetize it. Sam Cooke knew the music business back then. So this is why he was so successful too. He had a lot of money. So you got to think, being a black millionaire in the music business back in the 60s. Being in the 60s, think about being a millionaire. You're a black millionaire in the 60s off of music. So That brother was a threat. Got to keep that in mind. Peace to the chat. Peace, Jade. Peace, Doug. Good morning, y'all. And so I'm gonna continue on. It says Cooke's decision to turn to his attention to pop music in 1957 had tremendous implications in the black music community. There had been a taboo against such a move, but Cooke broke the mold. He reinvented himself as a romantic crooner in the manner of Nat King Cole. Was in his smoothness. He wrote many of his best songs himself, including his first hit, the ethereal "You Send Me," which shot to #1 on all charts in 1957 and established Cooke as a superstar. Now, as you can see, this brother was a genius. He reinvented himself. You didn't hear of artists doing that back in these times. You see, once an artist made their money off what they were doing, they either kept doing the same thing or they retired. This brother reinvented himself. Genius. This is what Prince was always able to do. This is what Michael Jackson was always able to do. And a lot, and Michael Jackson looked up to Sam Cooke. You see, so we have to understand the things this brother did in the music business. And we talking about 1957. This is, look at the year we're talking about. You know, there wasn't no A&Rs back then. You see, that's what made these brothers so talented. Sam Cooke so talented, he was able to reinvent himself. He did it himself and mastered it. You see, so he already in numbers in the gospel world. Now he's coming into the pop world and wrote his own #1 hit. Now I know a lot of us saw a lot of these old black singing movies like Temptations, Five Heartbeats. You don't really see a lot of them. A lot of them didn't write their own music, and if they did, they still didn't get credit for it. His first #1 hit, he wrote it. He wrote it. It was #1 on all charts. That means it was an international hit. It wasn't just national. If it was #1 on all charts, that's big, y'all. That's big. But we also have to understand that's dangerous. That's dangerous because to the upper echelon, starting to figure out once you start breaking the mold and doing unprecedented things, they start trying to figure out what they can do to bring you back to them. Because as we can see, controlled everything on his own. He made the decisions. Nobody controlled him. So let's see if they're going to try to get him back in their fold. While other rhythm and blues artists stressed visceral sexuality, Cooke was essentially a spiritualist, the domain of romantic love. When he did sing dance songs, Twisting the Night Away in 1962, 1965, He did so with a delicacy theretofore unknown in rock music. So with these two songs, he created, he basically crossed over with these two. So here you have this brother creating more and more timeless music. And this is what makes you a legend, you see? Cooke also distinguished himself as an independent businessman. His own publishing, recording, and management firms. There you go. This is when you become a threat. He headed his own recording and management firms. So why did he need a record label? He was a machine. You see, he was the first black machine as an artist. Sam Cooke, y'all. He was his own machine. He had the publishing, he had the studios, and he had the management. You see? So what did he need anybody for? Middleman. And see, once you cut out the middleman, they try to cut your line to the distributor. That's what the record labels are for. The record labels are just middlemen. What they want to do is get paid for representing you because that's what they are. Record labels get paid because you come in their name. You don't come in your own. So once Sam Cooke cut that out, shit, they looking like, oh shit, we got a problem, Houston. Because what do he need us for? And see, one thing that the white supremacists understand is that once we feel like we don't need them, to vulnerable, you see, because they always have in their mind that one day we're going to want to take them out. So they always got to make sure they stay on the dominant side of the spectrum. Because if they feel vulnerable, then they might feel like we may attack them. So not only was Sam Cooke talented, he was powerful. He was very, very powerful because he understood business and how to own his own intellectual property. That's what he understood. And they don't want you to be talented and intelligent, talented and dumb, because that's how they can use you for your talents and take all of the money. So let me continue on. He broke new grounds by playing nightclubs, Cabana in New York City. That's one of the legendary nightclubs in New York City. I'm from New York City. I don't reside there now, but that's where I'm from. I had my high school prom after party at the Copacabana. So that's a legendary club. So he also started that trend of people performing at nightclubs as a black artist. He started that too, family. So we got to understand how deep our history really goes. and how important Black excellence plays in our history. Teach our children mainly about music because our children love music now. So we have to lay down a nice solid history on our children dealing with music. Because see, if you don't understand where you come from, you won't understand where you could go. You see, all these dudes run around saying they independent now. There would be no independence if it wasn't for certain people who sacrificed themselves for that. The importance of owning their own things back then. You didn't have a lot of those people. Sam Cooks. You see, you didn't have a lot of them. This is the last paragraph, y'all. It says the tragedy of his demise in 1964, shot to death at the age of 33 by a motel manager, is shrouded in mystery, of course. But the mystery has done nothing to damage the strength of his legacy. It's going to come in 1965, remains his signature song, an anthem of hope and boundless optimism that expresses the genius of his poetry and sweetness of his soul. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. He was killed in 1964, and he was shot to death by a motel manager. So as we can see, y'all, like I said a few minutes ago, you can get too powerful and they're gonna come after you. And they came after him. They came after him and they killed him. Why the hell would a motel manager want to kill Sam Cooke? Why? That's a hit. So when we saw Michael Jackson be murdered, that was a replay of how they killed Sam Cooke, how they killed the brother Prince. That was a replay on how they killed Sam Cooke. You see, they don't want you to be talented and intelligent and business savvy. They want you to be talented and dumb. This is why they sent the A&Rs and the managers into the hood to find talent because they knew that people was young, dumb, and talented. The sports movies, the most talented Black dudes on a football team are not the sharpest. You see, because they want to use you as a slave. You see, so we have to understand that when we become business, then we become a threat to the infrastructure because now they cannot use you against yourself. There's no excuse for ignorance to the law. That's why they tell you that. Saying is, if I can take your money because you don't understand that I can, if I know how, that's not my fault for doing that. You see? But they couldn't do that to Sam Cooke. Didn't need them for anything. He was his own machine. And once you cut them out monetarily, gives them their power. Money is not what's going to give us power. Unity is going to give us power. Money is what gave them power, and it keeps them in power. Sam Cooke cut them out. They had to take him out. Michael Jackson, just like Prince. You see, they found a way to take all Michael Jackson shit back. Way to take all Prince shit. White supremacy, y'all. Dominance. Dominance. Now, because if they, what our brothers left, that leaves legacy for children to see legacy of us. We must understand that. This is why we have to start taking our children on trips. Them to the fucking amusement parks. Take them on trips. Let them visit other places, man. There's statues of us in other places in the world. To see our legacy. They don't just need to read about it or see it on the internet. They need to see it in person. Taking your ass to Miami. Go to a small island and stay there. We have to start teaching our children, family. You see? So this is why they have to kill off our people and take what we accumulated back. Want Neverland, if that's what Michael Jackson named it, they don't want kids to grow up and see that. Like, oh, that's Michael Jackson. That's his estate. And it's still standing there 30, 40 years from now. Great Michael Jackson. They don't want that. They gonna own that shit and turn it to something else. You see? That's why they always try to make our entertainers struggle after their careers or during their careers, because they want to be able to taint our legacy. And this is why it's very important while we on these huge platforms that we're on, in an entertainer or being a sports person, that platform to speak truth to power, not just get all these assets and just run around and be a rich nigga. Use the platform to create some type of change. This is why that's important, because they're gonna take everything that you've owned. They taking all that shit back. They don't care if they gotta be in court and spend millions of dollars, because it's not about the money. It's about the legacy. So, important, family, because all you might have left to be remembered by is the things you said. You see, his most influential song that everybody remembers is "A Change Is Gonna Come." A change is gonna come. Family, keep speaking truth to power. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me see who in here. Make sure I shout everybody out. Shout out to Sunline, you know. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Doug, you know. Good looking out for tuning in, y'all. But our words are very, very powerful. And we have to stop using our words as a detriment. I know we all not perfect, but we must try our best to use our words as upliftment and encouragement to one another. And if you ever do the opposite, and it's a disagreement or whatever, make sure you apologize, you move on. Peace, triple darkness. And I want to say good morning again to the family. A little later on with my number 10, Freedom Fighter, for my Black History Month series. Thank y'all for tuning in. That's one Ross. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.